One.
Hello,
Cool.
everyone. My name is Zip, the chief of music on the KBPS student staff, and today we're talking to a rising music star. She's an amazing singer-songwriter and just recently blew the roof off the Crystal Ballroom in Portland. She's got a guitar in hand, fire in her voice, and stories in her heart. Her website is madelinehawthorne.com. Let's give a big AM 1450 KBPS welcome to Madeline Hawthorne. Hey, Madeline. Thanks so much for joining us at KBPS in Portland.
Hey Zip, how we doing?
I think we're doing pretty good. We're very excited to interview you. Yeah. So
Thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. First off, our radio teacher saw you recently at the Crystal Ballroom and says that you were epic. Tell us about your tour you're on right now and how is the road treating you?
Sure. So at that point, I was on the road with Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real. And that tour was so fun. We got to play some really amazing rooms all over California, the Pacific Northwest, including the Crystal Ballroom in Portland. Um, my band was opening, which means we're chasing a tour bus, which is a lot of work. It means you have to drive through the night when the rest of the band sleeps on the bus. Um, so we were working hard pretty much nonstop for a month. And I'm actually home in Bozeman, Montana right now, and I'm very happy to be home.
Yeah. What is it like playing with Willie Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson, on tour?
It is it's one of the greatest pleasures of my life because he is an incredibly kind, genuine, down to earth, normal dude. Not necessarily what you would expect, or maybe exactly what you would expect with him being Willie Nelson's son. But it was really lovely to get to play with him.
Hmm. We heard that you have some Portland connections and a cool story about the iconic Crystal Ballroom. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah, I did tell that story. So it must have been, I think it was 2016 or 2017. I drove out to Portland with my husband for New Year's Eve, and we saw two bands, the Lil Smokies and Fruition, play at the Crystal. And so I was standing in the crowd watching those bands play and hoping that maybe one day I would get to play that same venue. And then just a handful of years later, I got to. So that was a really great feeling.
Yeah, the Crystal Ballroom is one of the most iconic venues in all of Portland, and I've seen a couple of shows there myself. So, props to you for being able to play there.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great feeling.
Hmm. You've done some recording up here in the Northwest in Washington State, right? What was that like?
That's right. That was wild. It's a beautiful old barn that was converted into a recording studio back in the 70s. So it's been around for a long time, and there are some amazing players. Brandy Carlisle has recorded there, David Grohl has recorded there, the Lumineers, more recently, Zach Bryan, who's not from that area, but actually came out to record one of his hit songs in that space because that barn has a lot of magic. There's something to be said for a studio that's been around for so long, and you've had so many different musicians come and play through there. There's no way that they don't each leave a little something that it's obviously not ghosts, but it's like spirits of these musicians at very pinnacle points in their
Hmm.
careers and in their lives. So yeah, it was an amazing experience to be there for 10 days making my record.
Hmm. Speaking of it, you got a brand new album and single out. Tell us more about Neon Wasteland.
Sure. Yeah. Neon Wasteland is the I actually have some more singles coming out, but that is the one off of my album Tales from Late Nights and Long Drives. And I wrote that song after I took a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, which is a very different environment from Bozeman, Montana, and also from the Pacific Northwest or the Mountain West, Rockies area of this country that I know very well. So I had a lot of fun writing that song about a young woman who's chasing her dreams and leaves her small town for a big city. And she's struggling to make ends meet. And she's a fictional character, but man, I think we can all relate to her challenges. And yeah, it's a fun number. So I hope y'all like it if you've listened to it.
Yeah, we've loved it. We actually added it to the KBPS library, and we'll be playing it when this interview airs. So
That's so cool. Thank y'all.
what do you want listeners and fans to feel when they listen to you? What do you want folks to take away from your music?
That's always
Bit
an
of a
interesting question, because I think the relationship with the audience, whether it's a live performance or whether they're hearing your music on their own time, is really a give and take. And I want people to be able to pull from my music whatever it is that they need from it. And so when I write a song, the lyrics to me might mean something completely different than they do to someone listening to them, with that person being in literally a different geographical location, a different point in their life, different desires. And so I just want my music to be there as a resource for someone who needs it in whatever way, whether it is that you just want to get up and dance like a crazy person, which is one of my favorite activities, or you need to
I can
sit
relate to that.
and
Yeah.
cry it out, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. KBPS is the Portland High School radio station. We are students learning to find our own voices and inspirations. Tell us about your early inspirations, being in choir and getting started as a musician.
Oh, yeah. So back when I was in high school, like I said, we didn't have a radio. We didn't have the opportunity to do this, which again, I think this is just so awesome and inspiring. And I think that if there were this opportunity when I was in high school, I probably would have done it. We had a crew of people that like to put on coffee houses on, it was like one Tuesday a month. And we'd use the multi-purpose room, and it was for songwriters and poets and comedians. And it was a really great place to test out playing my guitar. And I got my first guitar when I was 16. And you can't exactly go into bars and play when you're that age. So it was a good chance to test out how I could do on a stage. And so that was a great time in my life. And I got to hear a lot of music and songwriters at that point. I was living in New Hampshire at that time. And that definitely inspired me to keep writing and keep performing, and took that with me to Bozeman, Montana. So yeah, high school, what a time.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
Which music artists do you listen to? Who is your current playlist?
Ooh, man, such a good one. So I'm really excited about the new Casey Musgraves album that is coming out. I think that she is a phenomenal songwriter, and I love the production on her records. A little bit older of a musician, but still putting out records, Marty Stewart and his fabulous superlatives is like taking a drive down a Western highway. It's just such a cool sound, and he makes some incredible tones with his guitar playing. I love some of the old classics, Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, Loretta Lynn. I'd play those
Oh yeah.
all day, every day. And yeah, I also I'm home right now, and I really love lo-fi, just as like a nice background music to chill out and do the dishes and
Yeah.
unpack the van. And I rock the chill hop playlist from YouTube like all the time. So it's kind of a mix of musical genres, but I would say those are on my top
Mhm.
playlist right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna narrow it
Yeah.
down and ask you, what is your favorite music artist if you had to choose one?
What? Oh my God. James Taylor. Just I grew up with James Taylor, and so he's just like, he's been there. His voice and his songs have been there for me like ever since, like before I could remember. So it's like he's like my musical uncle, even though we've never met before. I just love his music. It just makes me feel like home, and it makes me feel like comfortable. And yeah. How about you? Who's your favorite of all time?
Um, I'm always a sucker for the Beatles. I mean, like,
Dude, right there with you.
yeah,
Totally. They've been like playing in my, I don't know why, fixing a hole where the rain gets in. For some reason, that was just playing in my head yesterday when I was unpacking. I don't know why,
yeah.
but
I
the
was listening
Beatles,
to Nowhere Man earlier today, actually, while I was working on some homework.
yes, such a good one.
Yeah. I grew
Cool.
up
I
with a
feel
lot of
that.
I grew up with a lot of oldies and stuff like that. My parents are old hippies, and they made sure that older music is a very big part of who I am.
Good for them. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's such a great era of music. So
Mm-hmm.
that's cool.
What would be your advice or words of wisdom to a room full of high school students that love music?
Whoa, words of wisdom. Um, I don't know, like I went to college, and I'm glad I got my degree versus jumping right into music without getting an education and getting to know myself a bit more. And I'm not necessarily saying that that is the path for everybody. Um, but I'm actually very grateful to have gotten an education here at in Bozeman, and um, I just feel like I have a more solid ground underneath me, like a base to jump off of, because the music industry can be a pretty crazy place, but there's a lot of really wonderful, creative, supportive human beings in this industry. So I'd say that, come on in and be a part of this industry, and always put yourself first though, and take care of yourself here before you go out into the crazy world of music. But yeah, come on in. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm. I see some trophies in your background. Can you tell us about those?
Oh, yeah. So this guy, this is hilarious. This is from a bluegrass festival in Colorado called
Ooh.
Grass, and I won the band contest, and so they gave me, it's just this like little, I
Aw,
don't even know what this dude is. He's so cute. And they
like a
just
little
like
dwarf.
stuck him on this, they just stuck him on this
That's so
on this
cute.
trophy. Yeah. But I'm really proud of it. This was like really early in my time working with my current bandmates, and um we're going strong, and I'm really grateful to have those guys playing music with me on the road. So I'll hang on to that trophy forever. And then I think the rest of that stuff is like, my husband's a ski racer. So that's like him skiing when he was a little. My mom was a musician, so that's my mom there. And I think that's my degree. I think my bachelor's degree there.
Yeah,
And
looks like it.
and then there's some fake plants from Target. Can't keep them
Well,
alive. So
that was a perfect way to end. That was our last question for you. Thank you very much for
cool.
taking the time to be here today.
Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me. And again, I think it's so cool that you have this class, and I'm excited to hear the interview. And maybe we'll get a chance to talk again sometime when I release my album, if y'all are still in class.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to.
Cool.
Uh, we've been speaking to rising star, music singer, and songwriter Madeline Hawthorne. Her website is madelinehawthorne.com, and her new single is called Neon Wasteland. Madeline, thank you so much for talking with AM 1450 KBPS in Portland.
Cool. Yeah, so great to talk with you, Zip, and best of luck to you.
Mm-hmm.